Hey guys, what's going on? Joel here, and welcome to the Back in the Day 100 Subscribers Q&A special. I originally posted my video, it was about 4 weeks ago or so, and I said I was going to leave it up for a few weeks to garner enough questions in order to have proper Q&A. Surprisingly enough, or I should say funny enough, I actually tried doing this video about 2 weeks ago, and unfortunately, due to the time constraints that were actually on my camera, I ended up running out of time because my camera only goes to about, I think, 25 minutes or so. So what I'm actually going to do, because I want to have enough time in order to answer everybody's questions properly, I'm actually going to do this in 2 parts. So this will actually be part 1, and then as soon as I'm done, I'm going to turn around and I will do part 2, and then I'll just get them both uploaded today. So, first off, I want to thank everybody who has subscribed to my channel, who supported me over the past, 5 years. It literally has meant a lot to me. Because of you guys, you're the reason that I've hit the 100 subscribers. So, I mean, this is for you. I want to just say thank you, honestly, from the bottom of my heart for that. I got a lot of really good questions. Some of them were a little more on the ridiculous side. Spidey Whitey, I'm looking in your direction on those, but I will answer as many of them as possible. I also will say that a lot of them were really, I had to put a lot of thought into some of them. So I really wanted to answer these as truthfully and as honestly as possible, and really as, to the best that I could. And that's why I wanted to do this in 2 parts, so that I don't kind of half-ass my way through this. I want to give, full, direct answers. So that being said, let's go ahead and jump into some of the first questions. Okay, Ndog, first one, Ndog214 asks, how much retro games do I have in my collection? I actually had to write that down. So in terms of retro games, I have 44 NES games, I have 3 Game Boy games, and I have 19 Super Nintendo games, which brings the total to 66. So yes, that's how many I've got in my collection. Let's see. Charlie Young, you'd only have 99 subs if it weren't for me. Thank you. Also, how do you feel about Steve in Smash? Funny enough, I actually had to Google that because I had no idea what anybody was talking about, and then I saw the announcement that Steve is apparently a character from Minecraft. Both games I am not familiar with. Smash Brothers maybe a little bit more when I had a 3DS. I did have Super Smash Brothers for that. It was an interesting enough game. I liked the idea of it. I just didn't care for it. I had been told, though, that if you want to play Smash, the 3DS isn't really the best way to go. You're best playing it on the Wii U or the GameCube or even, the N64. The console way is probably the best way, maybe not so much handheld. So I guess to answer your question, how do I feel about Steve in Smash? I really don't have an answer for that. It doesn't really affect me because I don't follow Minecraft or Super Smash Brothers. So, sorry, I wish I could have answered that a little bit better. Let's see. Invaser, what's your thoughts on Back to the Future? Actually, Back to the Future is one of my favorite movie series. All 3 of them. Excuse me, here are my coffee. I had actually just watched all 3 movies on Netflix within the past few weeks. So, but honestly, one of the best trilogies, I think. Not so much a fan of Back to the Future 2. I think that one got a little bit just too goofy, perhaps. They tried a little more on the comedy side. To me, it didn't work. It's still a good movie, but not as good. Obviously, the first one is the best, and then I would have to say that my second favorite of the 3 would easily be Back to the Future 3. So. Okay, here's a series of questions from Spidey Whitey. Let's see, the first one. When was the last time you got into a fight, and how bad did you lose? The last time I can remember getting into a fist fight was when I was in 9th grade. It was back in 1994, and I actually won. I won that fight. Well, I mean, I would say that I won. It was broken up by a teacher before it got way out of hand, but I clocked the kid in the face and then pinned him on the ground in a headlock. But, I mean, he also caught me in the side of the head. But I'd say by and large I probably won. He also wanted to know, would I rather go to an Antifa sleepover or have Cricket Wireless? Easy enough, Cricket Wireless. Here's a series of questions from Spidey Whitey. By the way, guys, if you haven't checked out his channel, he's got a lot of really cool slapstick humor. I really enjoy his videos, his Slappy Hour videos. They're really funny, so I would highly recommend checking those out. All right, let's see. If I won $1 million, which Miiverse friend would I give $20 to? None of them. Miiverse doesn't exist anymore. Have I ever had a pillow fight with a pillowcase filled with dimes? No, I prefer my pillow fights with pillowcases filled with half dollars. More surface area tends to cause more damage. You ever had one Mexican friend who had a grandfather that didn't like you? No, can't say that I have. If I could identify as anything, what would it be? That would be a billionaire. Who did I vote for as president in 2000? Did not vote. Jose or Jose B? Jose B, of course. That really goes without saying. You ever walk into a Target and miss? No, I only stick to Walmart. If you ruled the world, which Backstreet Boy would I be? Probably AJ, because he is the... Well, no, not AJ. Yeah, AJ. He's the bad boy, the tattooed guy, I guess. I don't know. Have you ever taken Dayquil and NyQuil at the same time and looked like Forrest Whitaker? No. And the last series of questions for him. Did you know the only thing worse in your aunt's and an ants in your pants is your uncle's? Haha. Disney or Datney? You know what, Andy? That is literally a joke that my dad had made years ago. It was not funny then. It is not funny now. Let's see. What's your all-time favorite sad movie that made you question your sexuality? That would be Steel Magnolias. And have you ever taken a bottle of hairspray and a lighter and singed off your parole officer's eyebrows? No, but I am assuming due to that question, it's something you might be familiar with. So, thank you, Spidey Whitey, for those questions. All right, then we get to the Mace Trace. Actually, check his channel out too. It's really cool. He's a younger kid. I think maybe, what are you, 12, 13 maybe? But he did some really cool kind of game reviews. They're interesting, honestly. I've honestly enjoyed them. He says, congrats on the 100 subs. I apologize if this might sound a bit creepy, but what country or state do you live in? Just that. I don't want to know your address or anything. I live in Australia. No, not creepy at all, Mace. Actually, I obviously live in the United States. I live in Pennsylvania. That is where I reside. In fact, actually, to kind of put it a little bit better perspective as to where in Pennsylvania I live, I'm sure you've heard of Groundhog Day, you know, the forecaster of the weather, Punxsutawney Phil. I live about, give or take, about 40 minutes from Punxsutawney. So I'm not too far from the groundhog. I've been through Punxsutawney many, many times. And I will tell you, it is a very ugly town. It's not nice at all. Gobbler's Knob, where they do have the actual ceremonies at, I've never been up there, but that's actually one of the nicer aspects of Punxsy. The town itself is very ugly. It's a very ugly, kind of dirty-looking town, which is kind of sad, given I understand that it's only one day a year, but you would think that for the amount of people that show up every year for Groundhog Day, that they would try to make the town look a little bit more presentable. But I will say what is really cool is a lot of the local businesses, like there's one in front of Burger King, there's one in front of like a flower shop and stuff. There's these life-sized, I mean, they're probably, I mean, I'm sitting down, but I mean, they're about yay tall, and these big fat Punxsutawney Phils that are decorated in, like, okay, for example, there's a restaurant called Gimmicks, and it's, I don't know, like just kind of your basic diner, but there's a Punxsutawney Phil outside with a little chef's hat on, and he's playing guitar, but the guitar are like sunny side up fried eggs, and then the neck of the guitar is like 2 strips of bacon. It's actually kind of cool, but all the businesses in town have those in front of them, and I don't know how long I mean, I've been living in Pennsylvania for about 20 years now, and they've been there ever since I moved here, so how long they've been there, I don't know, and how businesses got them in front, I'm not sure of, but kind of a cool little thing of the town, though, that is I really think is kind of neat. And then finally, the last question for this video from Good Vibe Collecting, which, guys, if you have not checked his channel out, please check out Good Vibe Collecting. It is so cool. He takes various video games, excuse me, a lot of them have been like Nintendo games, NES, like original sealed NES games, and then he unboxes them, and it kind of is like a little bit like cringy because obviously it's a sealed game and it's like, oh no, you've destroyed the value, but it's really cool. And his approach to how he does the videos, he's been one of my supporters, like really hardcore supporters over the past year and a half, and I've enjoyed. As soon as I started watching this content, I was like, dude, I'm subbing because you are like, your content is like head and shoulders above some of the other people's that I've seen. And it's just simple unboxings, but it's the way that he presents them, and it is really cool because, you know, you're looking at this game that he's got sealed, and it's like, to think that all the contents that he's pulling out have been stuffed in here and not touched since they were first packaged, you know, 30 some years ago. So that's really cool. But anyways, Good Vibe says, congrats on making it to 100 subs. It's a big milestone, and from here on out it slowly gets easier as long as you're consistent. I always look forward to your unboxing videos, not only to see what inserts are correct, but to hear your story with the game as well. He says, I guess my question would be, when did I start collecting complete in box games and why? That is actually a very interesting story. So, basically the crux of the matter was sometime around 2012 or so. I think it was 2012. Well, I should say I think it was 2010. My wife and I made the jump into the 21st century, and we bought our first laptop and got connected to the internet. So that really opened my eyes to, like, video games, like, you know, the old retro stuff. But it had also allowed me the ability to start looking up old acquaintances and friends and things. And I've spoken in great detail about my best friend growing up, Mike Keebler, and almost all of my gaming memories are surrounded, you know, they're with him. So I began getting, you know, kind of nostalgic and whatnot, and I began, like, wondering. I knew that he had lived in California. We kind of lost touch, and I figured, all right, well, I'll look up, try to see how I can get a hold of him. Well, in the process, I had discovered, and this was around, I think, 2012-ish or so, that I started, like, kind of searching into this. I had discovered that his mom had passed away, and it hit me really, really hard because his mom was a lot like a second mom to me. She was really cool. She was a gamer too, and it hurt. So I kind of got thinking about the memories you know, that I had with him and I gaming together, and, you know, wanting to recapture that. I mean, I had gotten back into gaming. I had a PS3 and whatnot, and I was her death really kind of got me thinking. I started hitting that age of, like, I was around like 35, I think, 34 or something like that, and the nostalgia bug really bit me. And the one weekend I decided, you know what, I'm going to collect all of the old games that I used to own as a kid. Now I had 13 games, 13 original games, NES games as a kid growing up. They were obviously Super Mario Brothers, and Duck Hunt was the one, but it was Super Mario Brothers 2, Zelda 2, Bases Loaded, DuckTales, Kung Fu, RBI Baseball, Platoon, River City Ransom, Dr. Mario, and Dragon Warrior. Those were the games that I owned as a kid. And I said, well, I'm going to get all those. And as a kid, I was also very nitpicky, or, like, I should say anal about it. I kept all of my stuff, all my boxes, all the inserts, even the plastic, everything. None of it went in the garbage. I had everything nice and neat on my bookshelf, all in order. So I was like, well, if I'm going to buy these games up, I don't want just the cartridges or the cartridges and the instruction manuals. No, I want the boxes and I want, you know, the box, the manual, and the game, and I want it in pristine conditions, the best condition I can find. And at the time, money was no object for me. I was making extremely good money on my route. So I trolled eBay over and over and over again and decided that, you know, I'm looking for those games. Well, in the process, I decided, I was like, you know what, I'm going to take it a step further. I'm not going to just get those, you know, 13 NES games. I'm going to collect anything that I had great memories of, or that sparked nostalgia, or that was, you know, very, inspirational or influential on me as a kid. So that was really where my collecting of retro games came in at. Now there's still games that I've not yet picked up that I would like to pick up, but they're going to come in due time. So that is really the basic gist of it. It was that. Now I do have games in my collection that I purchased just because I happen to find a good deal on them, or because they happen to be in like a lot of games that I purchased on eBay, like Defender of the Crown. That was one game that it just happened to be in with a group of 5 games that I was purchasing, but the other 4 games were ones that I really wanted. So that was how I went up with that. I do have a copy of Wario's Woods that I got a good deal on. A couple other games I might have, but I can't think of off the top of my head. A couple of them, like Godzilla, for example, was one that a buddy of mine gave to me. So, so yeah, man, that's the story of how I got into retro collecting. So, all right, guys, this concludes the end of part 1. Stay tuned for part 2 coming up literally right after this. So, all right, guys, catch you on the second one.